As the title implies, ladies and gentlemen, as the title implies, Blizzard Activision lays off 50 employees in its esports division. Now, I have the article in front of me right here on Wowhead. There it is. And let's just dive right in. And I read this before the stream started, and there's something really, if you guys are reading ahead, there's something really interesting at the end that I'm probably gonna laugh. Isn't it a problem to make streaming over YouTube and Twitch at the same time? Nope, not really. It's possible. Using a program called Restream. I'm also streaming on Facebook as well. What's up, Facebook people? How you doing? What's up? What's up? So yeah. I guess my co-host for today would probably be my dog. But he'll probably come to me in a second. So there it is. Activision Blizzard lays off 50 employees in its esports division. Is laying off roughly 50 employees from its esports division, affecting Overwatch League and Call of Duty. As reported by Sports Business Journal, Activision Blizzard president of sports and entertainment, Tony Petitti, I have no idea. Had a meeting this morning discussing the restructuring and noting the division's decreasing reliance on live events. We learned a lot last year in terms of how the leagues can be structured for online play, and we'll look to carry forward the best practices from that, he said. In terms of timing, its reaction to the realities of how the leagues are playing and what resources we need to allocate to best serve the league owners, teams, and fans. Petitti, who reports to Activision CEO Bobby Kotick, also noted that there were discussions about how to best structure the league even before he started in August. The decision took time in part because you never take anything like this lightly. Now, I think this means partially because of due to the coronavirus. Like if we go back in like the absolute global pandemic that's happening right now, if we go back, he said, we'll look the first sentence. We learned a lot last year in terms of how the leagues can be structured for online play. It turns out that having tournaments and having esports events and stuff like that, they don't need to be held in person. I mean, don't get me wrong, going to physical events, oh boy, how long ago was that, man? I really going to physical events, that's something that I truly miss. However, going to physical events is an experience in itself, but when it comes to actually, if you look at the bigger picture, we live in a day and age where anything is possible with the internet, right? You can host tournaments, live streams, podcasts, everything can be remote. I said this on a podcast, like I think a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago, sorry. That technology brings people together, but at the same time it sort of separates people. I mean, this pandemic has taught, I think, me and a lot of people a lot of different things when it comes to just like interpersonal like relationships and just like contact with another person, right? um and it affected a lot of, not only people, right, but businesses. As you can see, I mean, people are losing their jobs. I don't know how the situation is like in your countries. Let me know, leave a comment and let me know how the situation, the pandemic situation is in your country. Right now, I am currently in Poland, and it's not getting any better. Starting from tomorrow, our entire country is going back again on lockdown. That means everything is going to be closed again. We're all going to be sitting in our homes. Everything is just going to be poop, right? Just how it was a year ago. And going back to this article, current situation is hell. Argentina, really? Is it that bad? Damn. uh I know in some places it's getting a little better. Like it was yesterday. Someone told me yesterday that in Texas, in the United States, they opened up everything. Like they're just, they're like, hee haw, pow pow. I'm in Texas. I got guns and I got a cowboy hat. I can do whatever I want. That was my worst impersonation of a Texan that I have ever done in my life. So if any Texans are watching out there, I'm so sorry. In Saudi Arabia, we have less cases, no lockdown yet. Probably because in Saudi Arabia, it's so hot that the coronavirus just dies. Okay. Um, oh yes, Texas is the last bastion of humanity. Hell yeah, man. So yeah, so going back to the article, um, like I said, this affects not only people but businesses, right? Businesses, and I guess you could say the same thing with G2A, right? Because when this whole pandemic thing started, uh, we were like, like we were like the whole company was forced to online work and stuff like that, and to remote work, and we really didn't know how it was going to happen, right? We didn't really know what was going to happen, but it turns out that remote work actually makes people more productive, right? Remote work actually makes people more productive. Now, this isn't the case for everyone. I would imagine that this might not be the case for people that have like 3 kids at their house and like a million dogs, or just like natural background noise that could be preventing them. And those types of people would much prefer to leave their home and work from an office or something like that. But for the majority, I think, of people in the world that work a desk job or work in some kind of corporate setting, um, remote work is very possible, and it's very effective, judging by the whole year. And it's not only effective for work, it's also effective for esports events and tournaments and stuff like that. I mean, there's people, I don't know how many of you, how many people watching right now actually um watch some kind of tournaments, watch some kind of esport event, alive, whether it's on Twitch or Facebook, or watch or listen to a podcast live. Everything these days is done remotely, right? And it's crazy to say, but it actually took a worldwide pandemic to bring people to this realization that we don't need to be everywhere physically, right, to do these things. And I think basically what Activision Blizzard did here is, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing when you look at the big picture, right? When you look at like, I'm not like a CEO or anything, right? This is just my hypothesis. But if I was a CEO of a company, and I was trying to, grow the company and stuff like that, I think, laying people off could be like, it's like a natural thing that I think happens with the growth of a company. I mean, I think at some point, you're gonna need to do it eventually, right? Because obviously, people lost their jobs, right? People lost their jobs, and that's sad, But people that I think have worked at Blizzard have are really creative and really good at what they do, and it wasn't like their choice, right? And I think there'll be it'll be really easy for them to find something similar, right? In maybe the same like sphere of things that they were doing. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. However, I do want to point out this last sentence right here. If you guys can see it. What's up, real Donald Trump? How you doing? There's a small update. First, like before we get to this part, for those of you that are reading ahead, already know what I'm going to talk about. But let's just read about the follow-up statement from Bloomberg. A spokesperson reiterated how the pandemic has changed consumer needs in entertainment. And boy, how has it changed? Oh, so very much. It's actually crazy. Players are increasingly choosing to connect with our games digitally and the esports team. Much like traditional sports, entertainment, and broadcasting industries, has had to adapt its business due to the impact of the pandemic has had on live events. A company spokesperson said the affected U.S. workers will receive a minimum of 90 days severance and health benefits for a year. That's really good, actually. A severance package for a year. Um, that's shout out to Frost Giant Studio for rehiring unemployed Blizzard minds. Dude, yeah, there is also another studio that was made by some other ex-Blizzard employees that are basically funneling employees from Blizzard. I forgot what they were called, but they're also working on some really ambitious projects, right? So, and you know, after reading this statement right here, after reading this statement, it brings it okay because they said that they have to adapt, right? They have to adapt to the ongoing pandemic, okay? Because it's changing consumer needs. Now, this raises a question in me. What happens when the pandemic ends, right? Like they're making all of these changes for the pandemic that's ongoing, but I don't think it's going to be going on forever, right? I mean maybe I think we're going to be in this sort of like stasis state of the pandemic for the next like maybe I don't know like I think for the next 2 to 3 years. I think that's how long it's going to be. So let's just say hypothetically, okay? Let's just say hypothetically that all of these companies, all of these, these like big AAA developers and, similar companies, maybe not even gaming companies, just in general, right? They're doing everything to promote their product, to market their product, to do everything that'll be more efficient to do during the pandemic, right? Because everyone's sitting at home, no one's leaving their houses and stuff like that, right? What happens when it ends? Do we go back to our old ways of doing things? Is it gonna be even easier? Are people gonna even want to go back to the way the things were before the pandemic started? That's the question that we have to ask because thinking about what's happening now is important, but also planning for the future. Like I think it seems to me that most people aren't really thinking about what's going to be happening in the future when they're making decisions like this, right? What about those 50 employees from Blizzard, right? I'm pretty sure like 95% of them will find another job like that. I mean, it's super simple, right? I mean, if you have the experience of working at Blizzard, making projects, making huge games, having very important roles, making very important decisions, then I think that you'll be pretty well off. Um, but what happens when the pandemic ends? What do you guys think will happen? Ritis, I kind of get why gaming companies lay off a huge amount of people because they hire a huge amount of people for each project. So for the end of each project, they lay those people off. Yes, I think that's partially true. Um, but at the same time, I think that sometimes they would want to like acquire that talent and keep it, right, for future projects. Because I mean, why would like a company like Blizzard hire 50 people for the next big game that they're making and then let them go? I mean, for the next one. So they can hire more people. So it's just like this endless vicious cycle of hiring and rehiring and firing. And I'm pretty sure that giving 50 people severance packages for a year is not cheap. Okay, it's not cheap for the company. I mean, they said that they will get minimum of 90 days severance and health benefits for a year. I'm pretty sure that's not cheap. um and I think the last part right here, this this funny part, um there there's an update. Employees from other Activision divisions were laid off as well, such as King, which develops Candy Crush. My mom plays Candy Crush. While the severance packages is generous by corporate standards in the U.S., it's a puzzling choice to include a $200 Battle.net gift card. That's like saying imagine this. Look, imagine this. Imagine you're getting laid off from a company, okay? Imagine you're getting laid off from a company that sells stuff, whether it's games or merchandise or whatever. And they're like, okay, you have the severance package and you have these health benefits. Find yourself a job. You got 90 days of free money, and to top it all off, the cherry on top. Here's a gift card so you can come by at the company you were laid off from. Mm. I honestly, this sort of just makes me laugh. But if I was to be put in that situation, I would be sort of angry. I'd be like, "Are you guys serious right now?" Like, mm, I don't know what I would do. I was never in that situation. Hopefully, I never be put in that situation. But it's just weird, man. It's just so awkward. Like, imagine the conversation. Imagine the conversation that you're having with your manager. Imagine imagine the conversation you're having with your manager, right? You're getting laid off. You know that you're getting laid off. Okay. And he brings you into the room. He's like, "Hey, man, we're going through some tough times. Coronavirus. We're adjusting to the pandemic, and it's hard, man. But we got to let you go. Here's a severance package. You got 90 days of benefits, and you got or 90 days of salary and health benefits for a year. And then if you want, dude, here's a $200 Blizzard gift card." What is your next response? Dude, I don't know if I would either laugh or cry. To be honest, I don't know if I would laugh or cry, dude.